All right, and here we go. Friday edition of Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. We welcome you in as we always do. We have a good show for you planned today. Not that we always don't. We always do. Every single show we do is good, but today maybe possibly a little better than the norm. So what do we have today? So you see him every time they do, like, the Giants are up on the clock in the NFL draft, or the Giants are, taking the field at a big game. You see license plate guy just there with his license plates and his blonde hair and his excitement and his passion. Well, he's going to bring all of that. I don't know if he's going to bring the license plates to the show today, but he's going to bring everything he brings to the table to the show in a couple of moments. We're going to have him on live breakdown and some news with the Giants. This comes from Adam Schefter. I am seeing the NFL fined the Giants $200,000. Head coach Brian Daboll a $100,000 fine in addition, and Cam Scadaboo $15,000 for violating the concussion protocol while Jackson Dart was being evaluated for a concussion. So team $200,000, coach $100,000, Scadaboo $15,000. I had people are really out of their minds. I had people sending me notes, messages, emails, tweets, whatever. For days after that, Giants are going to lose picks. We're never going to lose picks. It's a bad look. You can't do that. I think that Daboll kind of lost his composure for a moment, and the Giants are being fined a decent amount of money, right? All told, $315,000. And Scadaboo was probably looking for the bathroom, to be honest with you. Like, he probably didn't even know where he was going, looking for the bathroom. Daboll was bad. Organization, it's not good. And the Giants consider themselves to be like a very first-class organization. It was a strange look. And now, so Sunday you got violence, right? You got violent, angry, miserable Rothenberg fine. Monday you got despondent. Wednesday you got like kind of the changing of the fall season, right? Where I go from angry and furious to looking towards Philadelphia. Today now my attention is on the dirty Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants and the Eagles Sunday at 1:00. By the way, the Giants only have one more non-1 o'clock game the rest of the entire season. That's it. Just one. Only one. So that, of course, is against the New England Patriots. The Monday after Thanksgiving weekend is what that's going to be. So away we go here. We're going to bring in license plate guy in just one moment. And let's bring him in now, as a matter of fact. License plate guy. We have a busy show today. We're going to do everything that we do. Locks of the week, fantasy play him if you got him. Want to get into the Abdul Carter conversation. But Joe Ruback, nobody even knows your name is Joe Ruback. You're always referred to as license plate guy. So, license plate guy, welcome to Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. How are you, my man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on. I'm in a good mood now. I'm ready for the next game. So let's go.
Nobody gets it more than me. I mean, I was a hot mess on Sunday night. I was livid about it. I was disgusted. I was despondent. I'm back to the land of the living now, but that was brutal, man. Were you at that game in Denver?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was. It was the first time in a long time, probably since San Francisco game, that I felt physically ill. But you know what? I also don't talk a lot of crap, especially in the last 15 years. So the first half, I was loving it. I didn't tweet so much. I didn't go at fans a lot. I'm gonna wait until the triple digits, the zeros are on the clock, and it was like a slow moving car crash. I couldn't look away, and I saw it happening.
It was terrible. I mean, the kicker was terrible. I thought the decision making, throwing the football was very questionable. Dart, they blew the game. Then he led them back down the field for that game-leading touchdown, and then to give it away like that, and to give it away like the way they did with just getting into a prevent defense, Joe, it was awful watching that.
You know what? I think what bothers me the most about that is when you go into prevent like that, you're really preventing yourself to win, in my eyes. What bothered me most was listening to Shane talk about, what he would have done different if given the chance after the Dallas game. Oh, so fast forward a few weeks, you're given the chance again.
Chance, right?
And that kind of bothers me the most. And look, there's blame to go around for all. Everybody's calling for his head, but and I'm a Daboll fan. But Daboll, you have headsets on, say no, that's not what we're doing. So
you're the CEO, right? I mean, this is your team. If you don't like something, you've got to step up and say no. You can't send three. Carter and Lawrence weren't on the field.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, you don't have to say anything more than that. When two of your best players, your best player and another very good player are not on the field, enough said, Dave. You just said it.
Yep, I think so. So This is interesting for me. I was 2 years old. I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember the story being told. And my dad, it was 1975, maybe it was 76. I walked into the den and my dad was watching a Giants game. And it was just like that, "Oh," that moment of this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I mean, your respect, I haven't missed a game since 1978. Right? Like I refuse. I don't weddings, funerals, you name it. I'm not going to it. Giants are first and foremost, which my wife adores. But my question to you is, how did you come about this? Because there's not a lot of people like me out there, and you're the equivalent of my lunacy.
Yeah, I love it. Say, I'm exactly with you. Though I did open up the stadium with my dad against the Cowboys. I think it was at 76, I believe, is when Giant Stadium opened, and I was there. So I got to win. I was a little kid,
Yep.
but we had tickets. We had a couple down low and a couple up top, and it was our ritual. You went to the deli, you got your sandwiches, you brought your carpet to put on the floor for your feet, your newspaper, you got everything going, and you didn't open up your thermos until halftime. So, I fast forward all the way. I used to go to 1 or 2 away games with my dad, maybe even my brother, when they were both alive. Unfortunately, they passed. And in 2000, I decided to go to every game. They made it all the way to Super Bowl, which we don't talk about that much. And I haven't missed a game since. So this is my 25th year, every game home and away.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the amount of just time and energy. Because for me, and I give you a lot of respect, man. Because by the time I finished watching the game, by the time I finished watching the Broncos game, I was done. Like I was shot, I was spent, I had no energy left. Like physically, I was absolutely exhausted. So you now have to leave the stadium, go to a hotel, get on a plane, fly back. Like that must have been miserable on Sunday into Monday.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's when my amazing race begins. The game ends. I'm already late. I don't really miss work. That's another thing. I'm an athletic director of a school, so my superintendent, my principal, really give me kudos for always making it back. So either I take a red eye or the last flight out, and to jump in an Uber, to get yourself to the airport, to get through security, to get on a plane, and you're so miserable, and all you see are you got Denver Bronco fans giving you the smirk, and just to get home only to get an hour of sleep and then get up and have to go to work. It's not fun. Sometimes it's not fun.
It's awful. I remember the one game that I remember. You probably remember this. 1988 Jets Giants. It was a Jets home game, and my dad. Yes, in the corner of the end zone, 27-21. My dad somehow, because like tickets were not as accessible as they seem to be now.
Yeah.
You could never get Giants tickets. And my dad was an accountant and made calls to a client or a friend or something. We got tickets to, that was the week 16, I guess, the Giants and the Jets game. Giants win that game and they win the division. They lose that game and there's a chance they don't get into the postseason. So they lose 27-21, Toon, corner of the end zone, miserable.
I see it.
Yeah, it was awful. We walked back to the car. You talk about don't say anything. We did not speak. We did not speak on the walk back to the car. We did not speak on the whole entire car ride. We got home, and I said, if you remember this now, the Rams played the Niners that night. And if the Niners won the game and beat the Rams, the Giants would go into the playoffs. The Niners laid down like dogs. Yeah. And I said to my dad before they game, I go, I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm so angry. I'm so upset. If the Giants get in, they get in. If they don't get in, they don't get in. I don't care. He goes, you'll care. I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
When they kick off that game, you will be the biggest Niners fan in the world. So I don't know, man. There's not a lot of people that I feel like this unbelievable connection bond to, like I do you. But you've been through these battles. You've been through these wars. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible the things that you take from being a Giants fan.
I absolutely love that you just said that, because I remember, look, we could go back and forth with some horrible losses. Same thing with like a Flipper Anderson, and then just running into the end zone and running into the locker room. But it's funny walking back with your father, just like you said, and like nothing could be said, and he'll turn around and be like, "What did you say? I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything." So God, that brings back memories.
Yeah, no, that's so many memories. So, what do you think about this team right now? Because the expectations were I think were low-ish, and they brought back the same offense, and Russell Wilson is just, doesn't seem all that good right now. Dart seems to have really kind of changed the entire trajectory of this organization. You're around this team. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I took a lot of heat because back when they got Wilson and Jameis Winston, I didn't want either of them. I didn't care,
Mhm.
only because I knew that the team would eventually be turned over to a rook. And it didn't matter if you kept Locke around, Tommy DeVito around. Yes, they're not gonna bring it to the promised land. Yes, when they got Wilson, I immediately thought the Giants were 2 games better no matter what. So I understand all that. But at the end of the day, I didn't care. It didn't move the needle for me one bit. And here we are, not moving the needle one bit. And here we are with Dart, who I think Dart and Scatterbo, yeah, I unbelievably cherish the energy that they bring. I
Mhm.
don't care about the dumb memes being posted. I don't care about anything. We have talked changing culture for over 10 years now. They have changed the culture. What do I feel about the team? I think they're bipolar. One week you're going to get a great team, the next week you're not going to get a team. One week you're going to get a team, then
Fourth quarter,
but
right?
yes,
3 quarters in Denver,
yes.
great. Fourth
With
quarter,
that said, I was
disastrous.
just going to correct. With that said, I was just going to say back-to-back games, 30-something points with
Mhm.
Dart, whether he lost or not. Did you expect the Giants to do anything other than 4, 5, 6 wins, 6 being unbelievable this year? No. So we're right on the track for it, and I think we're already ahead of schedule.
Listen, I think there's a lot of reason for excitement. I don't know if you saw Bill Barnwell from ESPN put out
I
an article
saw it.
this week. He said clearly, like the Giants are ahead of the curve. The quarterback
Yep.
is special. My buddy, and I'm sure you know him, Jordan Renan, like talked to him early this morning, and he's like, and he's very difficult to get to say positive stuff because it's been a long time since it's been positive. And he's like, listen, this kid is the quarterback. Like Matthew Stafford said it, Vic Fangio said, he goes,
Yeah.
the teams that passed on this quarterback, they're gonna feel it. I mean, for the first time in such a long time, I have hope. It's like they finally have the quarterback. Joe, you know this. If you don't have the quarterback, you got nothing. And Daniel Jones was not going to happen here. DeVito, none of these guys. They finally, it looks like it feels like they actually have the quarterback.
And that is why Dable's not going anywhere, my friend. No matter what happens the rest of the year, he pushed for the guy. He got his guy, and that guy is going to move forward. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people disagree with me. I have some people in the beat writers, some media. They think that that the romance of Shane and Dable are going to be a little bit messed up. One's going to go, one might stay. I don't know, but I think he pushed so hard for his guy, and he got his guy. He's not going anywhere.
All right, so I don't know what I want yet. I mean, for me, it's they have 10 more games, and I'd like to see how it plays out and how he coaches and how the quarterback comes along and all those things. But the one thing I would say on the flip side, I don't know if this is your opinion, you want him back, or this is what you're thinking will in fact happen. They're losing games because of coaching right now. Like they lost the Dallas, in my opinion, they lost that Dallas game because of coaching. They lost the Broncos game because of coaching. Now I think they have to take some blame. I know they turned the players turned it over, but they turned it over 5 times. They should have won that Saints game. Joe, you could argue they probably should be 5-2 right now. The coaches have to take some responsibility for that.
I mean, come on. Would they get 2 or 3 delay of games? You're darn right. Coaching has to take responsibility. So I'm gonna go in the same breath that you just said, and that is we got 10 games to prove that your butt better stay here. So you know, I think that if Dart continues to play the way he does, and the Giants fix a couple of things, and they're still putting up 27 to 34 points a game, it'd be very difficult to get rid of him. With that said, this is a business. Heads are going to roll. Maybe one head, maybe 2 heads. Dable and Wink. Something happened there, and Wink got shown the door. Dable was able to handpick his defensive coordinator, and he did. What happens from here after that? If you're firing him, shouldn't you be held accountable since you're the one that handpicked him? So you're right. There's 10 more games. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So Eagles this week, beating the Eagles 2 weeks ago was one of the highlights that I've got to experience in the last God knows how many years. How do you feel? What team do you hate the most? Now I'll tell you mine before I even get to yours. Mine are one of two, and it depends who's better. It's either the Cowboys or the Eagles, but I detest both of those football teams.
Yeah. So look, we're of similar age. You're always going to hate America's team first. They always growing up, it was only one. It wasn't the Eagles. It was always the Cowboys. Even though Washington with Riggins and Theismann and they were hated, but not as even when the linemen would try and go at Joe Morris, they were never of the caliber that the Dallas Cowboys. Not until the Eagles started to be good. The fan base we always hated. But you're right. Now it's whoever is on top we hate more. It's always going to be the Cowboys for me. But I'll tell you, I hate the Eagles this week. I can tell you that right now.
The one thing I'd say is Washington is not in that category. Like it's Eagles, it's Cowboys. Yeah. Well, I listen. I don't like Washington. I don't root for Washington, but they're not in that same hatred, vein as the other two teams.
They never will be, and I don't know if it's because they're irrelevant. I really can't say that as a Giants fan, but they're kind of irrelevant. I don't care who takes over for them. I knew the sophomore jinx was going to come. The last time they thought they were going to win a Super Bowl, RG3 was taking over. So yeah, I don't even pay much attention to them until they do something.
Yeah. Well, listen, they had a good year last year. He looked like a good quarterback, but I worry about health with him because he's a slight guy and he's already banged up in year two. So you go to every.
He's a really good quarterback.
He's a really good quarterback. You go to every rookie, he is amazing. What fan base gives you the hardest time? Like what fan base?
Without a doubt, I got a couple more days before I gotta take my meds. There's only one spot. I mean, Philly is by far the toughest place to ever go anywhere every year, no matter what. Whether it's parking your car, whether it's walking to the parking lot, you can't go to a tailgate without getting killed. You can't go into the game without getting killed. Look, when you're in Philly and your team wins, you're in trouble. When you're in Philly and your team loses, you're still in trouble.
So what does trouble mean? Like how far does it go?
No, so that's a really good question because I mean, look, they're very aggressive with their mouths. Anywhere you go, you're going to have drunk people. I don't even care if you're at MetLife. So let's not go and say that doesn't exist in every stadium because it does. When I say in trouble, they look for a more confrontational, whether it's physically or mentally than any other fan base. They just do. Like you hear it in the stands. You're going to hear it if you're going to get a food. You're going to hear it. You go to the bathroom. You're going to hear it anywhere. So that is true. They look for confrontation more than any other place I've ever been.
You don't ever have to fight anybody at any of these games.
No, I play it off rather well. When you lose, what are you going to do? You're going to say, "Oh yeah, we got four Super Bowls." I don't play that card either. Learn the game is the only thing you'll ever hear from me. But no, you just keep on your path and you're good. I say this to anybody going to a Giants-Eagle game. Depending on where you sit means a lot, Dave. I sit behind the Giants bench. I sit in earshot of security, in earshot of police, in earshot of my team. When you're in the upper deck and it could take 10 minutes to get to you, I'd keep my mouth shut.
What's your relationship with these players? Like you're such a super fan that like I've asked you before, like, do you know this guy? Oh yeah. You know them all. How does that come about?
Yeah, I mean, look, it dates back all the way to Joe Morris, but let's fast forward to someone like a Brandon Jacobs who saw me in the team hotel on the road and blatantly said, "Hey, I won't use the language he used, but he's like, who are you? Who the F are you?" And then we sat at the bar and, had something to eat for 4 hours on a Saturday night before a game. So when they see you and they see your fandom and they follow you on social media, and I'm not about, wanting anything or doing anything, just what's best for my team, you form relationships, whether it's a friendship, whether we're working together on a charity, which I do a ton of. But, players talk. And, I got a call from Nubin a couple weeks ago. He wanted to do something. Nubin heard from so-and-so who heard from so-and-so that I'm the guy. So relationships kind of form like that, and they form naturally, and that's cool. And don't forget, I do my big celebrity softball game with the Giants, and, a lot of players get to see how I work through there.
Maybe I'll get an invitation to the big celebrity softball game this year.
Open for you. All always right. Has been, always will be.
All-time favorite player. Who is it?
It's got to be the guy that changed the game of football, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah. That's
hands down. Got no choice.
The thing is, because you talked about us being similar age, like the Giants drafted him when I'm 8 years old, and it's just like, it was magical, man. I mean, I can't even explain what it was like.
Dave, remember, remember all the 56s you used to see. It was unbelievable to see 80,000, 76,000 56s. Yeah, you got some 11s in there, you got some 58s in there, you got some 53s, Carl Banks. Harry Carson, you got all those in there, and Bavaros. And then not until, fast forward, not until probably Cruz and then Odell, did you see anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, he was so different. He was so dynamic. And, I got to a big fight with Peter King on the air a couple of years ago because JJ Watt was having one of those years, remember? And Peter, I was live on the air. Peter said, he goes, he's as good as Lawrence Taylor. I was like, come on, man. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's such a fight.
It's crazy talk. He's not ever be. It's not possible.
That's such a fight to me. It really is, because he changed the game. He changed the way you draft. He changed the way you pick a player, in the draft. He changed the offensive tackle, so you can't compare. It's ridiculous.
Lastly, I'll let you go get back, because amazingly you have a job. How is that possible? You're the greatest boss that walks the earth, that you have a full-time job. AJ Brown didn't practice again today, 3 straight days. What do you think?
Yeah, a little birdie told me that he's 50-50, maybe won't even play. But Dave, did he play last time the Giants played him a couple weeks ago?
Field. He didn't do anything, but he
didn't do anything but complain about it at the end of the game. Hey, look, I think the Giants are going to come in fired up to Philly again. I love that the players are keeping Dart very close to them. I love what Daniel Bellinger said. Like, hey, keep your head on straight, stick with the vets, like stick with us, don't go wandering off where you shouldn't be. And I think they're going to go fired up. I think the bipolarness of this team will show up on Sunday, and they're gonna do well again.
So you don't worry about like a hangover from what you just saw in Denver at all?
You better nope. You've learned this from your dad. You've learned this from your fandom. You better have a very clear head. Your memory better be very short. As soon as Monday hit, I'm sure there were still some hangovers. But once Tuesday hit, it better be out of your system and ready for the next week. This is your job. Go do your freaking job.
I agree. All right, man. You are awesome. I know this is not a long trip for you down the turnpike on Sunday to watch the Giants and the Eagles, but let's make it a clean sweep over this dirty football team. Let's beat the Eagles, and let's get back into the winning ways.
I hate the Eagles. Go Giants, baby.
Let's go Giants. That's license plate guy Joe Ruback joining us here. Thanks, man. Awesome stuff. Really appreciate it.
Love you guys. Thank you.
All right. You got it on Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. So we got a lot to do today. And you just heard it right from the horse's mouth that Philadelphia is the most difficult place to be a fan and to go to, and to have to deal with the Eagles and their fan base just continuously. It is very, very unsettling. Now, I mean, I consider myself to be a super fan. Like, I love the Giants. I'll never miss a game. I'm not spending my entire life and fortune to go to every single game. I mean, could you imagine that? I couldn't even do it. If I went out to the game on Denver, I can't make it back for my radio show. I don't want to go into to leave for the Eagles game at 9:00 in the morning, get back at 7:00 at night, and then just no. I give him a lot of credit for willing to do that, but it's going to be quite a battle for the Giants and the Eagles on Sunday. And listen, I've said this numerous times. I stand by it. The Giants are not going anywhere, but there are hurdles. And if you can somehow sweep the Eagles, and I heard a lot of, well, they caught them off guard the first time out. It's a bunch of crap. It really is. They're coming off a loss, first loss of the season. They intended to take the football and run it down the throat of the Giants. And they did on the first 2 plays, and it went away completely after that. And the Giants took it to them. The Giants were more physical. They ran Scatterboo down their throat. Jackson Dart made play after play after play, and the Giants defense turned them over as well. So listen, if the Giants cannot turn the ball over and Dart can give you another one of these games, and I don't think there's any reason to believe that he won't give you another one of these games, then I think you have to feel fairly confident heading into this one about the Giants. Jay Jan, license plate guy, legend. I really think Banks plays, I guess it means well. G-men. Banks plays good. I don't know why you would. What would lead you, other than just pure fanaticism at being a Giants fan? What would possibly lead you to believe that Deonte Banks is going to play well? You haven't seen it. You lost to Debo and the game completely fell apart. They pick on this guy like he's a scab. So I don't know what would lead you to believe that you're going to get a good version of Deonte Banks. I appreciate that you chime in. Also want to bring this to your attention. We need you to subscribe to YouTube because we have a list of people that do, and that's great. But we want more, and we want more interaction. And in order for this to continue along, we're going to have, for us to be able to book guests and get everyone involved, we need interaction from you guys. So I told you the other day that only like 30% of the people that watch the show are subscribed to the YouTube channel. So I mean, become a member of YouTube. Subscribe to the chat. We have 2,437 subscribers. As you know, at 5,000, we're going to paint Steve's face, so that'll be fun. Today is Twitter Friday, so we'll get to your questions and comments from Twitter throughout the week. We'll get to that a little bit later on. And then follow us on all our different platforms, Instagram, TikTok, at DR Giants Obsession, on Twitter, at DRNYGO, and on Spotify, of course, Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. And then like us, subscribe to us on YouTube to keep the as they would say, the ball matriculating down the field. Let's bring in the guys that make this whole thing work. And that, of course, is Nico and Steve. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
What's up, Dave?
I'm doing great.
Great questions as always.
What do you mean? What was great?
Against license plate guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's entertaining.
He was great.
I've talked to him over the years, but we've never had like a sit down, like heart-to-heart conversation. Obviously, I knew he's a Giants fan because I'd be stupid not to understand that. But I didn't know that he had, because I'm like the 1% where it's like I know these little minute things that have happened over the years that a lot of people don't know. And in talking with him, he's right there. Like he's a massive Giants fan. You can tell that, which I respect and I love. All right, so what do we have? Comments, questions? Let's get to them.
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions.
Nice.
In regards to the Deonte Banks comment, I think current Carl Banks would play better out there than Deonte.
He might even cover better in the secondary than Deonte Banks. And Carl Banks, I think, is let's see, he was drafted in 84. He's late 50s. And I think there's a chance he might be a better cover corner than Deonte Banks. Deonte Banks was a massive miss. And the Giants have a bunch of them, right? With this regime, Evan Neal, massive miss. Evan Neal is so bad that a mediocre offensive line, he's not even active for these games. So Shane is weird. And I don't mean he's a strange person. I mean, like the way that he's put this team together, because you look at this draft, you got Carter 3 that you like. You got Dart 25, I guess 25, right? That you really like. You got Scatterbo in the 4th round that you like. So there's a lot of good things that he's done. And then for every good thing that he's done, there's like, okay, you're paying Graham Gano and you draft Deonte Banks. And it's just like, it's either very good or very bad. But Deonte Banks is one of the very, very bad. So what else you got?
Great fan of the show, the Moloko Veloset.
So here's the thing now. I don't even know if you love the Moloko Veloset or you just love saying the name Moloko Veloset.
I love the name.
I love the name, and I think I love him too because he is a active fan of the show.
All right. So you love the Moloko Veloset.
Yeah, and we are going eventually to his coffee bar in London one day.
Right.
One of
I don't
these
think
days.
that's around the corner, but we will at some point go to his.
Does
coffee
Daboll
bar.
and Bowen bring more defensive pressure this game?
Well, they brought defensive pressure last game until they didn't. Like it's not like 60 minutes of dropping into this 8-man coverage and rushing 3. I mean, they were sending pressure all game long. That's what's so horrifying about what happened in the last 33 seconds of the game, because it was counterintuitive to what they had done the entire game. They were getting after Bo Nix. He was highly uncomfortable. You could see that he didn't really know what to do with that kind of pressure. They ran a million plays like behind the line of scrimmage. So they were trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And then in the most important, impactful plays of the game is when you decided, all right, guys, let's drop off into coverage and send 3. So it'll never, ever make sense. And license plate guy is right. They played Dallas. They faltered at the end. They said it won't happen again. You had a chance a couple weeks later, and the same exact thing happened again. So it has to be better. And yeah, I think they'll bring pressure. Because if Adebo's not going to play, and it doesn't sound like he's going to, that's going to force Banks into a larger role, and you're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback. Otherwise, Hurts is going to pick you apart.
One more coming in from David Carlson. If the Giants defense plays like it did against Denver, I would be shocked if they didn't win. Philly hasn't figured it out yet, and if they can't get into a groove early, they are 100% beatable.
You know what I like about that? Because it says if they can't get into a groove early, but you being the reader that you are, you saw groove for
That's why
what
you
was
won.
written Grove.
This
Yes,
is
and
why I win.
This is why you won. If the Giants defense can play, listen, they went 5 consecutive quarters not allowing a point. They shut out the Eagles for the second half. They shut out the Broncos for the first 3 quarters, and then it all went to hell. If the Giants defense plays well, I agree with you. I think there's something wrong with Philadelphia. I don't think they're that team that they were last year. The offensive line is not the same. And I don't know. I can't put my finger on exactly what's wrong. I don't think Jalen Hurts is great. And I know that last week he was really good. And for every time you say, boy, he's not that good, he finds a way to shut you up and he plays well. But I just don't think he's great, which is a weird thing to say because he was, a Super Bowl champion. He was great in the Super Bowl. They lost. But I just don't have full faith. I think that team has been so talented that it's taken. And maybe you hear this, you're like, boy, this is Giants Homer, and we don't agree. I just think that team has been so talented that you take a middle of the road to even like top 12 quarterback in the league when you have the best offensive line and the best running back and a great receiving core and a good tight end and a great defense, it's bound to make anybody look better. I would just ask you this. If you flip-flop Jackson Dart and Jalen Hurts right now, do you think the Giants would have any real chance to win this game on Sunday? The answer is probably not. They're probably not winning this game.
I think he fits into that playbook perfectly. Their scheme, he fits that perfectly. And I don't think anywhere else he might work. Yes.
I think he's a winner. And I think that's big because, he's at Alabama. He gets kicked to the curb there. He goes to Oklahoma. Like you can tell, like A.J. Brown is not like this. A.J. Brown wants to win in his way. So if it means that he has 3 receptions for 26 yards and they win 41-0, that's not okay. But I really do believe that Jalen Hurts needs to win. So if it means that he goes 11 of 16 for 84 yards and a touchdown and they win, then so be it. If it means he has to pick up yardage on the ground, then so be it. He's a winner. And I think that goes a long way. And I think that's something that can get lost, but I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't even think I'm being unfair. Steve, do you think I'm being unfair in my analysis?
I mean, Jalen Hurts isn't playing as great as he was last year, but you still have to respect his previous games.
I'm not saying I don't respect him. I just don't think I don't look at him in the Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, even elite
Did you last
level.
year?
Who?
Did you last year?
A lot of their success last year came from their run game.
I don't. I think that. I mean, Saquon ran for 2,000 yards.
I know Saquon was phenomenal,
and now Saquon's not phenomenal. And guess what? Neither is Jalen Hurts. So let's see what he develops into this week. Anything else?
That's
Nico.
We have a poll.
A poll.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did a comment poll when you guys were talking about who do you hate more between the Cowboys and the Eagles, and we have 57% of the people said Dallas. 43% said Philly. So a lot more people hate Dallas.
That's close, though. That's close. I think that license plate guy is right. I believe that when Dallas was always good and they used to abuse the Giants, it's this hatred for Philly probably stemmed from the late 80s with the Reggie Whites and Seth Joyner and Andre Waters and Clyde Simmons and Buddy Ryan and then there was more of a hatred for Philadelphia. And then when they got really good under Andy Reid and they go to the playoffs every year, and in the last decade they've owned the Giants. Like we got into the stats a couple weeks ago. They're 27-7 in their last 34 games against the Giants. So the worse you are against a team, the more hatred you're probably going to have for that team. So 57-40, interesting. Yeah. Anything else, or we'll see you guys later?
We'll see you in a little bit.
All right. Yeah. So let's bring in my locks of the week now. Okay. My locks of the week. Now, I know we have not been good, and I apologize for the fact that we have not been good, but it changes now. And what I do not like, my earbud is giving me a real problem here, a real pain in the ass today. There we go. I think we got it. So I'm 8-13, and you look at that and you say, that's unimpressive. I don't know why I have to look like I'm coming off like a bender for you guys to do that to me. But regardless, here's the 3 games. I like each and every one of them greatly. Patriots home -7.5. Now, you say they came off an emotional win. It was still the Titans. The Browns don't really move the football. Judkins is good, very good. But if you can slow him down, Dylan Gabriel is not it. He's just not. So, I mean, Drake May is playing at a very high level. This is a really, really talented team. They're very well coached. It feels like they're hitting their stride. You're telling me you couldn't see a 27-13 over Cleveland, 27-17, 24-13, something like that. That's what I think Patriots win this game by more than the 7.5. And secondly, so this is funny. I got to tell you a funny story. So the guys asked me, what are the 3 games that you're going to go with every week? Because we want to make a little graphic and, have a little bit of fun with it. And I texted them, Patriots, Saints, Bills. I get a response. We think you made a mistake. You meant to say you want the Bucks minus 4.5, right, Dave? And I was like, no. I meant to say what I said. I want the Saints plus the 4.5. And let me explain why. You can play your miserable stuff all you want, but here's the thing. The Saints have been a competitive team this year, and you can laugh at them all you want. They're not the Titans. They're not the Jets. They're not the Raiders. They've been in almost every game they've played. Secondarily, is this a road game to a road game on a short week for Tampa? The answer is yes. So you played Monday night on the road in Detroit. Then you traveled to New Orleans on the road to take them on. Do you have your best receiver in Mike Evans? He's out. Do you have a healthy number 2 receiver in Ibuka? No. Do you have your number 2 or 3 receiver in Godwin? No. Do you have your best running back in Bucky Irving? No. They are hampered. And Baker Mayfield is not healthy, and you could see it in watching the game against Detroit. He missed more passes than I've seen him miss all season long. He is not healthy. So, do I think the Bucs win? Probably. Do I see this as a field goal game? I do. I meant it when I wrote it in the group text, and I mean it now. I will take the Saints plus the 4.5. And lastly, the Bills have not played good football of late. So the Bills are 4-2, and they should be 3-3. I mean, they should have lost that opening game against the Ravens. It was miraculous that they lost that game. They just don't have weapons, and that's the weird thing. It's like they have this otherworldly quarterback. Josh Allen is so good, and Cook is a very good running back, but they really don't have an alpha receiver. They really don't have great weapons in the passing game. And remember, in the past, they've had Diggs and they had Gabriel Davis, and they were just a better team. Their defense is not good either. That being said, I get Andy Dalton this week as the quarterback of the Panthers, who are sitting here at 4-3. The Bills are going to score points, I would think. The pass defense for Carolina is not good. I think the Bills put up a 31 spot, 31-23, 31-20, something like that. So, again, to recap, give me the Patriots minus 7.5, the Saints plus the 4.5, and the Buffalo Bills minus the 7. Okay, so for the second time in 3 weeks, the Giants take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I guess you have to think to yourself, where's the advantage lie? Like, I hate that the NFL does this. I hate that the NFL puts you in a situation where you have to watch any team play another team 2 times in 3 weeks. Now, if you have a week 17 against a club and then the playoffs the next week is the same matchup, well, that's fine. That happens. But to schedule the Giants playing the Eagles 2 times in 3 weeks, I don't like it from not only like a Giants perspective, I don't like it from an NFL perspective. I don't want to see the same teams take each other on twice in 3 weeks. Because let's just say, for instance, the Giants are awful to start the season, but by the time you get to week 13, they figured it out and they're a much better version of themselves. Well, then what? Well, you don't get to, like, the Eagles see what they're going to see. They if there's a guy that's hurt, let's just say, for argument's sake, Malik Neighbors goes down with a sprained ankle and he can't play the first time they play, but the second time they play is 9 weeks later. You're going to get that version of him. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it at all. I hate this two times in 3 weeks. I don't like it. I don't like that business whatsoever. That being said, what can the Giants defense do against the Eagles offense? A Giants offense do against the Eagles defense on Sunday? I think they can move the ball because you've seen it. I mean, and it's almost remarkable that they're able to do this because the Giants don't have weapons. Right? Wan'Dale Robinson is their big weapon. Theo Johnson, Cam Scatterbo, Jackson Dart. Now, I know Dart is the quarterback, but when you look at pieces in the passing game, they don't. There are no people like they're doing this with Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson and Wan'Dale Robinson, and it just doesn't even really make sense that the Giants are putting up 30 points a game. Like, the Giants never score 30 points a game, and now, bereft of talent, seemingly offensively, they're putting up 30 points a game. I don't make it make sense because honestly, it really doesn't to me. But until proven otherwise, I think you have to have the mindset that Jackson Dart is that guy. And I know that you do it with a grain of salt because you're nervous about admitting that we have the quarterback, but he's been terrific in he's been very good in 3 games. And even in the 4th game against New Orleans, where he did make mistakes, he still did things well, right? And again, that was clearly his worst game. He still put up 2 touchdowns early on in that football game. So I just think he has it. I think he will move the football against Philadelphia. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this was a somewhat high-scoring game, something in the high 20s, which amazingly enough, you think about right now and you say, the Giants can win a game that gets into the high 20s because the Giants can score points. Now, speaking of scoring points, they left 3 on the table last week, and it cost them. It now sounds like Graham Gano is going to be the kicker this weekend. Okay. Let me look in the camera and give you a word of advice just to keep me somewhat sane. If Graham Gano is your kicker and you do not activate Younghoe Koo, and Graham Gano gets hurt in the pregame like it's happened numerous times now, you're going to see a version of me which you'll be terrified of. I'm just telling you that right now. I cannot live through another week where the Giants screw up how a kicker works. This should be the easiest decision you have to make. Kicker, check. They don't get hurt, check. Now I can worry about other things. No, not the Giants. The Giants figure out a way to continuously make this happen. So I get texts from the guys who are monitoring, of course, involved in the show. Malik Neighbor still hasn't undergone surgery for his ACL yet. Correct. Because the swelling in his knee is still to an extent that he can't have the surgery yet. So as soon as he can, he will. And he's a professional athlete. He'll recover. I would be very surprised if he wasn't back for week 1 of next season. I want to jump into some fantasy football with you guys. We've been very good here. It's great advice we've given every week, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think we've given really good advice. We go 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 3 receivers, and 3 tight ends. And again, just to give you a little insight into this, I'm not giving you play Jamar Chase because that's lazy and nobody wants to hear that. Everybody knows if you have that level of player, you're going to play that level of player. So we try to give you like that 2nd or 3rd tier, like, oh yeah, play this guy. All right, Caleb Williams was not great last week in any stretch. They won, but he was not great. But he's playing better, and the Ravens' defense is bad. And in order to win this game, see, I look at this game. It sounds like Lamar's going to play. I look at this game in one of 2 ways. Either Caleb will just play well and they'll put up points, or he won't play well, but Baltimore scores a lot of points, and now he puts up a lot of garbage. Either way, it's fine. Totally fine. Caleb Williams, feel confident playing him this week. Now, in fairness, I did tell you to play him last week, and he was not very good, but he's a better version of what he was last year. Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix was dreadful through 3 quarters. The Giants held him in check. But here's the thing. The Cowboys defense is really bad. Like, the Giants defense has moments where they're not good. The Cowboys defense is bad. He's going to put up numbers. And also against the Cowboys, you have to put up numbers. You can't go through a game against the Cowboys and put up 17 points and expect to win. You got to put up 27 plus points against Dallas. Listen, his number 1 receiver in Cortland Sutton is really a special player. Mims is kind of coming into his own. Dobbins and Harvey, the running back duo, and they know you can't go into this game thinking we're going to play baby football and not put up 27 points. So I like Bo Nix. And lastly, and this one pains a little bit, but Daniel Jones. I mean, they played the Titans. He's putting up massive weeks every single week. He has an elite running back. He has an elite tight end. He's got very good receivers. He has an elite offensive line. And he can run the football too. So you can get 35 yards rushing from Daniel Jones before you even start. So if I told you he's going to go 210 and 2 passing touchdowns and 35 yards, that's not a great game, but that's 7 points and 3 points. Now you're at 10 and a half, and 2 touchdowns is another 12. So he's giving you a fine game, and he's giving you 22 points. That's better than a fine. That's a good game from your quarterback. All right, so that's quarterbacks. Let's move right along to the running backs here. You know what? I'm going to go with the hometown guy, and that is Cam Scatterbo. He has proven that, A, he's great at the goal line. B, he can catch passes. He caught a touchdown last week in the passing game. So you're going to get 65 yards rushing on 18 carries. And, one of them will burst out for 18 or 20 yards, and a lot of them will be 2 and 3 yard rushes. But he's going to give you 18 for 65. He's going to catch 3 passes for 27 yards. He's going to give you a touchdown. And all of a sudden you look up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. So 6, 9, I got 16 points from a guy that's like a fine running back. That's a good number, especially with the amount of buys that you have this week. So if you have David Montgomery, he's on bye. If you have Jahmyr Gibbs, he's on bye. Like there's a tremendous amount. I think 6 teams in total are on bye this week. I'm just bringing up the teams that are on bye. So if you have a Cardinals, right? So the new running back Bam down there, he's on bye. Both running backs in the Lions are on bye. Travis Etienne on bye. Ashton Genty, I know he's underwhelmed you. He's on bye. Kyron Williams, bye. Blake Corum, bye. Kenneth Walker, bye. Charbonnet, bye. So you're desperate for running backs this week, and I'm giving you some guys that should be good. And then Rico Dowdle is the final over the 3 here. I'll give you now. Hubbard is back, so he's going to kind of take some of those carries away. But I think Dowdle is better. I think he's the more explosive running back, and I expect him to have a really, really good week. Buffalo's run defense is not good. Carolina has proven they can run the football, and he can catch the ball in the passing game as well. So I don't think it's going to be a massive game from Dowdle, but I think you're looking at a 15 to 17-point game, which, again, with the amount of running backs on bye this week, is, in fact, a good week. All right, let's go to wide receivers here, and let's bring those guys up. Rashee Rice he is terrifying. All right, they have Worthy, they have Kelsey, they have Pacheco. This is not what we've seen the last couple of years from the Chiefs now. The last couple of years, the Chiefs were kind of going through the motions, and they would, if they needed to score, if they allowed 20, they'd score 21. If they needed a late field goal to win the game, 24-21, they'd get it. It doesn't feel like it's like that now. It feels like we're going to go out there and we're going to put up 35 points. And if you can put up none, we'll shut you out and crush you. If you put up 17, we'll beat you by 2 touchdowns. If you put up 31, we'll be in a shutout. But this is a different Chiefs team right now. And Rashee Rice he looked terrific in week 1. He hasn't skipped a beat. He doesn't even have the wear and tear that a receiver would have heading into week 8. I love him this week. Absolutely love him against Washington. Zay Flowers, people picked him too early in this draft, and then people kind of have fallen out of love with him, but it looks like Lamar is going to come back this week. Zay Flowers is going to have a big week, so you want to get him in your lineup. And again, I don't think this is homerism. I think it's being fair. Wan'Dale Robinson is the Giants' best receiver right now, and it's not really all that close. Someone's going to catch passes, and he's really the only guy that can. In fact, he's how about this? The only receiver that caught a pass for the entire game last week was Wan'Dale. Jalen Hyatt didn't have a catch. Little Jordan Humphrey didn't have a catch. Bo Collins didn't have a catch. It was Wan'Dale. It was Theo Johnson. It was Daniel Bellinger. And it was Cam Scatterboot. That's it. And that will continue. That Wan'Dale will put up another good week. And then we turn our attention to the tight ends. And Mark Andrews. I think the Ravens are going to answer the bell with a force this week. I think they're going to put a lot of points. I don't love the Bears as far as stopping the Ravens offense. And remember, the Ravens have been bad for weeks now, but not with Lamar under center. So I think Andrews will have a good week, and he started out slow, but it's gotten better as the season has gone along. I gave him to you last week, and he did not do a lot. Evan Ingram. Cowboys defense is bad. Even if the Cowboys wind up winning this game, the Broncos will move the football effectively. So if you have anyone that you're kind of on the questionable side of things with being a Bronco player, get them in your lineup because it's probably the way to go. And I know that he's not worthy of the 4th pick in an NFL draft because I don't think most tight ends are. And Kyle Pitts was the guy for years that you look at, you say, they took him 4. Like, how could you take him 4? So he's not worthy of that, but he's good. And they take on the Dolphins this week. And now it's in a controlled environment in the Dome down there in Atlanta. He's going to have a big week. So you want to get him into your lineup as well. So there you have that. We gave you quarterback, we gave you running back, we gave you receiver, and we gave you tight end as well. Guys, let me bring you back in because I know that we're doing the little the Twitter Friday update here. Do we have some questions and comments off of Twitter that we can get to now?
Yes, we do.
Oh, nice.
We actually had a really big boost in a lot of our Twitter comments this week. Thank you, everyone, for commenting on our video about the Giants. I think it was losing.
It doesn't matter when it was, Nico.
Right.
You're boring me. Come on, get to it. Let's go.
Here's your number one. I don't have the name, but let's do it. And it is a confirmation of your parlay that you put that did not hit.
You owe that guy $5, Dave.
Well, but do I owe him $5 or do I get 10 chances to try to hit on one of these parlays? I think that's only fair. So
Mike in Massapequa.
Well, I gave him the Chargers at the money line. That hit. I gave him Aronde Gadsden as the over 40 yards receiving. That hit. So I was 2 for 2. And where it fell off a little bit was
yeah, but
Justin Jefferson.
The parlay didn't hit.
No, and I can't argue with that. The parlay didn't hit. And Carson Wentz took just a massive beating in that game. Jefferson was almost there. He's 7 for 74. But you're right. It didn't hit. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that.
This is from Big Blue Raking Crew. Let's go Giants.
Hang on. Big Blue Raking Crew?
I don't know.
Big Blue Wrecking Crew?
Oh,
Yeah,
Wrecking
I thought it
Crew.
was wrecking.
Oh, okay.
Raking Crew?
Sorry.
What do you think? There's a bunch of landscapers that get together to have a Twitter account?
I didn't want to say anything bad.
Well, Big Blue Raking Crew?
I don't know, Dave.
Oh, man.
Hi, Dave. As much as it absolutely killed me yesterday watching how the Giants game ended, I had one iota of solace. It was that Daboll and Shane era is hopefully one step closer to being over once and for all.
I don't know. I truly do not have an answer for you. I don't know what's going to happen. I've said this before, and I've told you again. I'm not doing it now. I'm not going to go in week to week to week thinking if they win, they stay. If they lose, they go. Let me get through the season. Let me watch this team with the new quarterback and a new feel to this offensive system play 17 games, and then I will determine whether or not they should bring back Daboll, Shane, either, both, neither. And that's my take. So if the Giants go out and beat the Eagles 41-0, that's awesome. But I want to take until the end of the season. I think that's fair to determine how I feel and what should be done with this regime. What else do you have?
From James Anun 38214. What a disgrace. How can you say coaching isn't a problem?
I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem. I just don't know if it can get better. And my concern is, right now, if you told me I had to make a decision, I would say that you probably would make a change at coach. But if you make a change at coach and you get better in the time management and some certain things do get better, right? And now you take a step back because you don't have the progression from the quarterback that you've seen. Is that a step forward? Or is that just you're treading water? So I'm leaning towards I would make a move. All I'm saying is let me see how the rest of the season plays out, and then I'll tell you what my opinion is of what the Giants should do.
Last one coming in from L Runner 1975. This is the best thing you will see all weekend, and exactly what I was waiting for as the Giants choke it away. Can't wait for the show tomorrow. I want Dave in full meltdown mode for the whole show. Do not hold back. And you didn't.
Here's what I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. Why is there such a fascination with me getting upset and having a meltdown? Like, why can't I just be? Why can't I love the Giants. I watch the Giants. The Giants win. I'm happy. The Giants lose. I'm upset and go about my business. Why do I always have to be like the monkey behind the doors at the zoo where they throw feces at me to see how I react? Why can't I just be? Explain that to me.
To be honest, I think me and a bunch of everyone else who is a fan of you would pay to see you angry, because when you came in last week, it was scary. It was brutal, scary, but it was pretty fun.
I'm glad that you take such solid. You see, here's the thing that makes you such a jackass, because you're also a Giants fan.
No, I get it.
So how could you be like, oh, watching you melt down after the Giants blew an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter? That was fun. That was really great.
Because all my life I've been you, and everyone looked at me and I was the one who did that, like lash out. But now I get to watch you do it, and it makes me feel better about myself.
Right, well, I'm glad it puts you in a good mood. I'm glad it makes you happy. I'm glad all these things are really working for you, because what I've seen, I can't sit there and watch a team blow a 19-0, 26-8, 32-30 lead. I can't do it. So I'm glad that at least there are some people out there that are enjoying what's happening right now, because for me, it's awful. I can't watch it. Okay. I can't watch 5 turnovers against the Saints. I can't watch blowing numerous leads against the Broncos. I can't watch it. So I'm glad that it's enjoyable for you guys. All right. The parlay review, we went over it. We went 2-2. 2-2 is not good enough in a parlay situation. You got to go 4-0. We did not. I apologize, but again, we're going to hit. Right. So there it is. Chargers on the money line. That hit easily. Wentz over 222. Man, I thought Wentz was going to wind up in the hospital last night. So what did he throw for? I'm bringing up his number right here. He threw for 144. So we weren't really close with that. Jefferson 80.5. We were just shy of that. He went for 74, and Gadsden over 42.5. I got to tell you, man, and this is just separate and not concerned with anything else. This Arande Gadsden is a real problem. When you look at McConkey and you look at Keenan Allen and you look at Quentin Johnson and you look at Gadsden, and when Hampton comes back and Slater comes back next year and Joe Alt and Herbert, the Chargers are going to be a real massive problem. All right. I predict. Let's go from the failed parlay to the I predict version of this show. Now, I predicted this last time as well, and I was wrong. I also look maniacal in this photo. I'm uncertain why the guys put this one up there. Saquon has to touch the football. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to get to the end of the game. It's like, all right, Saquon had 11 for 38 yards. How is that even possible? I can't imagine that Philadelphia is dumb enough to not get the ball in the hands of their best playmaker, especially if A.J. Brown, who is not practiced at all this week, is unable to go. So I anticipate Saquon touching the ball in the running game, touching the ball in the passing game, and he's a problem. He is. Now, the Giants did a good job last time, but they also went away from him last game. The Giants will get to Hurts 3+ times. That is their only chance to really win this game, and that's to get to Jalen Hurts, and I think they will. We'll get to Abdul Carter in just a moment, but he's not had a great start to his career as far as the numbers are concerned. Burns has. I think Burns got to Hurts twice last time they played, and I would think he'd get to him again. And listen, the offensive line for Philly is good. It's not as good as it's been. And I think the Giants front gets to Hurts 3+ times. And then lastly, Jackson Dart has shown. I mean, he is not afraid. In fact, he's probably should be more afraid to tuck it and run than he is. He is not afraid at all to do that. He picks up yardage consistently, and he's very mobile, and he's very capable, and he's very athletic, even more so than I anticipated coming into his NFL career. He will rush for 50+ yards. So just let me refresh where we're going here. 3 predictions: Saquon 20+ rushes, Giants will get 3+ sacks, and Jackson Dart 50+ yards rushing. One more thing that I wanted to get into with you right now, and that's Abdul Carter. Now, he has half a sack on the season. He's a half a sack. They took him 3rd. How does he have half a sack? Well, let me run through some of the numbers that tell a different story, okay? Pass rushing snaps, 65. So he's on the field consistently when the other team's in a passing down. He has 27 pressures. 27 pressures, leads all rookies. His win rate is hitting at 12.4%, leads all rookies. And I don't know if you are a PFF apologist or not, but his PFF pass rush grade is 75.4, also leads all rookies. So you can have the negative, and he's got half a sack and whatever, and that's fine, but he is a difference maker. He's continuing to improve, and you want to sit here and you want to blame Joe Shane for something? Don't blame him for Abdul Carter. Blame for Evan Neal. Blame for Deonte Banks, not Abdul Carter. So appreciate the stats there, guys. So here we are. Here we are again, huh? To me and you. Had a chance against Denver. They blew that game in dramatic, epic fashion. Like, they couldn't have just lost. They go out there. Denver's better. 21-17. Giants lose. No. Giants had to find a way to lose that game. They beat up on Philly last time they played. Will they do it again? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. We'll be back Sunday, 7:30 Eastern time, to break it down with you guys. We were ecstatic last time out against Philly. We were heartbroken last time out against Denver. How do we feel this Sunday? We will find out. The one thing you know is we will be here for you. Enjoy your weekend. Let's go Giants, right here on Dave Rothenberg's Giants Obsession. So if you like that live stream, check out this video or the other live streams. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.